Breaking news. The Johannesburg High Court has dismissed the bail appeal of Vusimuzi cat Matlala, ruling that the interests of justice do not permit his release. The judge's decision means Matlala remains in custody while he faces serious charges. This moment marks another chapter in a long and painful story that has gripped public attention for months. Today we'll walk through what happened, why the court reached this result, the background that led us here, and what it could mean for the future. To understand this ruling, we need to go back a little. Matlala first came to wider attention after a 2023 shooting in which his former partner, actress and socialite Tebogo Thobjane, was wounded. He was charged with attempted murder and related counts. The Alexander Magistrates Court refused his initial bail application, citing concerns that he might flee, interfere with witnesses, or threaten public safety. His legal team then took the matter to the Johannesburg High Court to appeal that refusal. That appeal concluded today when the High Court agreed with the lower court and dismissed his bid for freedom. The courts considered several heavy issues. Prosecutors argued that Matlala had been dishonest in his bail papers and that undisclosed foreign interests and complicated financial structures meant he might escape the country. The state also warned that he could use his influence to interfere with witnesses or obstruct the course of justice. Defense lawyers countered that Matlala has chronic health issues and that the magistrate had erred in assessing the case. They argued he is not a flight risk and that he should be allowed to prepare his defense outside prison. The judge, however, found the balance of interests favored continued detention. There are wider threads to this story that matter deeply. Matlala has been linked in both reporting and court documents to powerful networks, sometimes referred to as the Big Five cartel, a phrase that surfaced during evidence presented at the Matlala Commission and in public commentary. These allegations have added a political and social dimension to the legal process. Many observers are watching not just for the legal outcome of the single case, but for what it reveals about organized influence, corruption, and the power of money in our public life. At the same time, the courts must stick to legal tests, whether release is compatible with the interests of justice. The judge said it was not. What does this mean in practice? First, Matlala will remain in custody pending trial. The state is expected to continue building its case, and additional charges have been hinted at in reports, including possible money laundering and other serious offenses. Second, the ruling shows that the judiciary is prepared to weigh risks of flight and witness interference heavily, especially where alleged foreign assets or undisclosed wealth complicate the picture. Third, this outcome affects public debate. Supporters of a tough stance on organized crime will welcome the decision, while those who worry about selective prosecution or political targeting may question whether the legal system is acting fairly. We should also look at how different voices reacted. The prosecution called the judgment a vindication of the magistrate's earlier concerns about risk and dishonesty. They argued that allowing Matlala to walk free while investigations continue would undermine the integrity of the process. Defense attorneys expressed disappointment, but stressed their clients' right to pursue further legal remedies, including potential appeals. Meanwhile, public commentators and victims' advocates focus on the seriousness of the alleged crimes and the need for a secure process that protects witnesses. These responses feed into a larger national conversation about accountability and how justice is served in South Africa. There are competing values at play. On one hand, our legal system rests on presumption of innocence, meaning every accused person is considered innocent until proven guilty. On the other hand, the courts must protect the public and prevent any interference in the case. Judges must balance these principles by assessing the specific risks, such as the likelihood of flight, witness intimidation, or obstruction of justice. In Matlala's case, the court decided that the risks outweigh the arguments for release. This decision will likely be tested again as the case moves forward, through trial or further appeals. This ruling also raises questions about evidence and transparency. Defense lawyers have accused the state of exaggerating claims about jets, luxury assets, and offshore accounts that were never properly verified. The state maintains its evidence points to real and troubling connections. If the prosecution's claims about hidden assets and international ties are proven, they could explain why the court feared Matlala might abscond. If those claims turn out to be weak or unfounded, the defense will have strong grounds to challenge the credibility of the investigation. Either way, The next steps will involve a careful examination of financial documents, witnesses, and digital evidence. Let's consider the wider impact this has on society. Cases like this test the strength of South Africa's legal institutions. The police, the prosecution, and the judiciary. Every major decision is scrutinized by the public and can shape how people view the fairness of the justice system. A firm stance in the court can build confidence that no one is above the law, but if the process looks inconsistent or politically influenced, it can just as easily damage public trust. That's why transparency and proper procedure matter as much as the verdict itself. Looking ahead, there are several possible paths. The state will proceed with its preparations for trial, while Matlala's legal team explores all available options, including potential appeals to higher courts. The trial, when it finally begins, will draw national attention, and its outcome will have serious consequences not only for Matlala, but for how South Africans view their criminal justice system. If the prosecution proves its case, convictions would send a strong message about accountability and the rule of law. But if it fails, it will raise questions about whether the state overreached and whether justice was served at all. For those following the case, it's important to remember a few key points. A bail denial does not mean guilt. It simply reflects the court's assessment of risk and the broader interests of justice. High-profile cases are often clouded with rumors and speculation, so it's best to wait for verified facts to emerge. And above all, the outcome of this case will be an important test of how effectively South Africa's legal system can handle complex, politically sensitive matters involving money, power, and influence. If you found this breakdown useful, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you don't miss future updates as the case unfolds. Tell me in the comments, do you think the judge made the right call by keeping Matlala in custody, or should he have been granted bail? Let's discuss it respectfully below. Your thoughts matter, and I read every comment. Please subscribe, like, and share this video so more people can follow this important story.